Once upon a time, in a forest where the trees whispered and the winds sang sweet lullabies, lived a group of animals who were the best of friends. There was Benny the bear, who loved honey more than anything in the world. There was Lulu the lamb, who danced in the meadows like petals floating on the breeze. And there was Toto the turtle, who might have been slow, but he had the biggest heart of all. Whispering Woods was not an ordinary forest. The flowers glowed at night, the rivers twinkled like stars, and the moon would sometimes hum soft music to help everyone sleep. Every animal had something special. The foxes could paint with their tails, the frogs could play music on lily pads, and even the ants formed marching bands. But one day, something strange happened. The animals noticed that the magic of the forest was fading. The river's song grew quiet, the trees stopped whispering, and the flowers forgot how to glow. The wise old owl Professor Hoot called a meeting. All the animals gathered under the biggest tree, which they called the Story Tree. "The forest is sad," said Professor Hoot. "It's forgetting how to be magical because it's forgetting joy. We need to remind it." "Remind it?" asked Benny the bear, licking a bit of honey from his paw. "Yes," said the owl. "The forest needs laughter, music, and kindness. We need to go on a journey and collect the lost pieces of joy." So Benny, Lulu, and Toto packed some snacks, tied little scarves around their necks, and set off to bring back the forest's happiness. Their first stop was the Cave of Echoes, where the mountain goats used to sing. But now it was silent. Benny cleared his throat and sang la la. And to his surprise, the cave sang back la la la. Then Lulu danced a little twirl and Toto clapped his tiny turtle feet. Slowly the music came back to the cave, and the goats peeked out, smiling and singing again. Next, they visited the Meadow of Memories, where butterflies used to play tag with the wind. But now the butterflies were sitting sadly on the ground. Lulu gently asked, "Why aren't you flying?" A tiny butterfly replied, "We forgot how to laugh." So Lulu did the silliest dance she could think of, wiggling, hopping, and even spinning on one hoof. Benny tried to copy her and fell into a bush. Toto told a joke so silly that even the snails started giggling. The butterflies laughed and laughed until they fluttered up like a cloud of colors. The wind whooshed with joy, and the meadow sparkled once again. Finally, they reached the Pond of Reflection, the quietest and most peaceful place in the woods. But now the water was gray and the frogs sat silently. Toto walked to the edge of the pond and whispered, "What's wrong?" A little frog said, "The pond used to show happy faces. Now it only shows frowns." Benny, Lulu, and Toto looked into the water. At first, they saw only sad reflections. But then Toto took a deep breath and said, "We're not giving up." They all smiled. At first, the smiles were small. But then they started remembering all their silly moments: the honey-covered bear, the butterfly ballet, the goat echo concert. They laughed and laughed, and as they did, the pond shimmered and turned clear again. The frogs jumped high with joy, croaking tunes that filled the air with cheer. The three friends returned home just as the moon rose. And something magical happened. The trees started to whisper again. The river sang louder than ever. Fireflies danced above the grass, and the flowers glowed like lanterns. The forest remembered joy. That night, all the animals gathered for the biggest celebration Whispering Woods had ever seen. There was music, dancing, laughter, and stories. Benny shared his honey, Lulu taught her dance, and Toto became the hero of the night. From that day on, the animals promised never to forget what made the forest magical: friendship, laughter, and a kind heart. And so, the forest lived happily ever after, with a song in its rivers, a sparkle in its stars, and a giggle hidden in every tree.